Hello again everyone, and welcome back to week 2 of my monthly clean routines. Today we are starting upstairs. It's a very rare day when my husband is not in bed, and so I thought I would do the upstairs bits today. So I'm going to do 2 days worth of cleaning today, and then I'm going to have a day off tomorrow. So starting off with today, which is the upstairs windows. Fortunately, we have only 2 windows upstairs in both of the bedrooms. The bathroom and toilet have extractor fans, so we don't have windows in there. So it's just these 2 Velux windows to do today, which is nice and easy and quick, especially with my window vac. So I'm going over the window with some hot soapy water on a old dishwashing sponge, and then I'm just going over it with the window vac. There we go. And then I'm just going to buff it with a microfiber cloth just to get rid of any streaks. Sometimes the window vac does leave some streaks behind, so just going to go over that and just make sure there's no streaks left. As you can see, it was a pretty cold morning this morning as the water is condensing on the window straight away. It was so cold. I really thought it'd be warmer by now this time of year, but we definitely had to have the sweaters on and the heating on today. I think it was 14 degrees when I came down this morning, so yeah, definitely had the heating on. So I wanted to get the windows done really quick so that I wasn't letting too much heat out. That's one done. I went on to do the other one. As with most other videos, I only want to show you 1 or 2 of each thing that I'm doing so that it doesn't get too boring. So my next job was onto the doors and door frames upstairs, which does include the little windows at the top. These windows get really quite dirty considering they're right out of the way and nobody ever touches them. So I make a point of getting these done every month now, and they don't end up too bad. I can't unfortunately get the window back onto these though, they're a bit too small, but it's easily gone over with a clean microfiber cloth and it buffs them up perfectly. So I'm going over these today with a little bit of the flash spray. I can't remember which one this is. It's one that I found in the bedroom. I think it might even be a pumpkin spice pumpkin spice one. It hasn't got a label, but yeah, it's definitely got that kind of autumn scent on it. So just going through it and going over all the doors, the handles, the windows and the frames and getting them all nice and clean. The doors do get rather grubby with handprints and all sorts of mud and bits and bobs, so they definitely need doing, probably more often than once a month, but at the minute it's once a month and that'll have to do. Okay, next up it's time for the oven. So I did this on my big spring clean. It's not too bad, and if I can get to it monthly, it shouldn't ever be that bad again. So I'm just popping out the silicone liner that we've got in the bottom of the oven. We do need a new one. I must order that today actually, because it's got a couple of holes in it. But I'm not going to go in with the heavy duty oven cleaner this time. I'm just going to go in with some elbow grease spray. I'm going to completely saturate the bottom where the grease pools, get a bit on the sides, and then I'm going to soak the silicone mat in some boiling water with some washing up liquid just to loosen off that grease a bit. Like I say, I'm going to be ordering a new one anyway, so it's just going to have to do for the time being. So I want to get it as clean as I possibly can. And then for the actual oven door glass, again, that's going to sit with some elbow grease on it, as are the two metal racks that go in the oven. Now these are never going to come out perfectly unless I get some kind of acid dip or something, which is ridiculous. I'm not going to be doing that. So they are just going to sit up there and soak. So when I took this video, it was maybe half an hour, 45 minutes after I put the elbow grease spray in the oven, and I'm just going over it with a green scouring pad and some hot soapy water, and I'm just going to get all of this grease off as much as I can and just give it a quick once over. This is definitely not a oven deep clean. What I'm planning on doing is doing sort of maintenance cleans like this once a month, and then every 3 months doing a deep clean. I think that's going to work out the best for me. Certainly if I plan to do a deep clean every single month of the oven, there's no way I'm doing it because I hate doing it. So I think maintenance cleans are the key for the oven. And if I can get them to a point where it's actually a really easy clean, I would like to do this once a week. Just give it a quick wipe out would be amazing. I think that's something I will start with the new oven though when it eventually gets ordered. We keep putting it off and I'm not entirely sure why, but we do. I don't know. So I'm just going to go over these racks now again with the scouring side of a sponge. Again, like I say, they are not going to come up perfect. They're going to be far from perfect. In fact, they are, oh my goodness, how old is this oven now? 10, 11 years old. It's got marks on it that they're never going to come off. But I just want it as clean as I can get it for the time being. So going over it with the scouring side of a sponge, giving it a rinse off, that will do for me. So with the oven glass, I have gone over it with the sponge, the scouring side of the sponge, to get most of the gunk off. and I'm going to go over the rest of it with my glass scraper just to get the big lumps that are burnt on off, and then I'll go back over it with the sponge and it'll be all finished. And this is me desperately attempting to put the door back on. Usually it goes back on first time with no problems. Today it was going to be awkward, it was going to sit wonky no matter what I did, and it took a few goes, but I did eventually get it on. So next up is the food cupboard, the pantry, the larder cupboard, whatever you want to call it, where we keep the food. Specifically in here today I wanted to get the cupboard liners in. I put some cupboard liners in the cleaning cupboards and the other cupboards when I was doing those on spring clean, and I did miss the upper cupboards, so I really want to get these done today. So I'm going to empty each shelf off one at a time. I'm going to go over it with some pink stuff spray and just get it nice and clean, and then I'm going to pop the liners in, my very roughly cut liners in. And then I'm going to try and pop the food in so that we have our most used food at the bottom, medium stuff in the middle, and stuff we very rarely use at the top. It seems to work out at the moment, but I do have to do it every week because my husband goes for the shopping and everything just gets dumped where there's a space. So I do have to go through it quite a lot. So this is me attempting to cut the shelf liner, and apparently every single pair of scissors in our house is completely and utterly blunt, so it was very much a butcher job. I only bought new scissors a month ago and already they are blunt. I feel like the second I bring new scissors into the house, somebody decides to cut some paper or some cardboard or something and they just go blunt immediately. I've tried sharpening them with foil, I've tried sharpening them with a knife sharpener. I suck at getting scissors sharp, so I have to keep constantly buying them. I might get myself a little stash and hide them. But for today I just kind of hacked through and I made it in the end. Okay, time to move on to the next day, and we are doing radiators today. I'm going to show you one because it's pretty much, I do the same thing on all the radiators. I basically take the clips off, and the sides are supposed to lift out, but they are always really hard to get out, and they always cut me to shreds. So I just kind of take the clips off and prise the top grey out, and then I clean the radiator. Today I was using pink stuff. Nothing too crazy. Normally I would use Flash, but I had some pink stuff floating around. And then after I had cleaned the radiator, got all the dust off, I went over it with a diluted fabric softener just so it smells really nice when the heating comes on, and it also stops the dust from clinging quite so badly. Just going to go in very carefully at the top. I'm trying not to get too much water in these bits in the middle because they will rust. I'm looking to get some compressed air or something like that so I can sort of blast through the middle of these and get the dust out of those. I was looking at getting those blast cans. I think it was Fabulosa did them, but a lot of people, they were starting fires and I wasn't too sure about that, so maybe not this time around, but certainly I need something that I can fire down into there and give it a good clean. So with the radiators all done, moving on to the external doors. So I'm starting with the back door here, which comes off our kitchen. Certainly this one gets the most use. I don't know why, probably because he's from the north, but my husband comes in and out of this door, so does my son, and most of the time my eldest daughter uses this door as well. So it gets really mucky with, you know, bits of grit and mud from the garden, all sorts of stuff really ends up covered in. So I'm going to start on the inside. I tend to work from the inside out when I'm doing the external doors so that I don't get a load of mud from the outside and bring it inside. So I'm just going over it with my Dishmatic with some simple fairy in it. Nothing too crazy, nothing too exciting. If I didn't have this, I probably would use some multi-purpose spray, some Flash, maybe some Fabulosa wipes, things like that, just to get the dust and the muck off of it, but nothing too exciting. So I'm just going over that to dry it now with a microfiber cloth. Exactly the same thing on the back door, just using a bit of glass cleaner to get that glass pane, and then I'll go back over that with my Dishmatic as well. And now for the last job this week, it's going to be the big carpet washer. So this is my big Vax Platinum smartwash. It's a fantastic machine. As any of you who have been here for a while know, I absolutely love this thing. But it is an absolute nightmare to clean. You cannot get, as far as I can tell, I may be wrong, but you cannot get these roller bars out. So you have to kind of clean as best you can around them, but there are lots of little spaces that you cannot get into, and it gets super mucky in between these and around these. So I'm going in as best as I can with my cleaning toothbrush and some hot soapy water as usual, and I'm just trying to get into all of those crevices, or as many of them as I can, with this to try and get some of that muck out. It comes out almost like, do you know when you go out for like a muddy walk and you come back and the mud dries and kind of cakes on your boots? It comes out like that, these great big wedges of dry, dusty, hairy ick. So it's not a glamorous job at all, but I'm going to be washing the carpets in the next couple of weeks as part of my monthly clean, and I really do want to make sure that this machine is clean before it even starts, because the last thing you want to do is try and clean with something that's already dirty. It's not going to be efficient, and I'm going to end up working twice as hard trying to get all of the muck out of the carpets. So certainly I want to get as much of this off as I can. So I'm just going over on the body of the machine with the microfiber cloth, and inside there's a little hose attachment here so that you can have like an upholstery hose popped in there. I never use it, in all honesty. For my upholstery I use my spot wash, but there is a facility on this to put hose on and do like your stairs or your curtains or whatever you want to do, and that does get grimy as well, even though I don't use it. So I'm just going in there and getting rid of that as well, and then just going over the main body of the machine and giving it a clean. So I'm going to take off of both the reservoirs and the shampoo reservoir on the back. I'm going to take those into the kitchen and get them cleaned off as well, but I just want to focus on getting the machine itself cleaned for now. So I'm out in the kitchen now to clean the reservoirs and the main, I don't know what it's called, the main hood of the brush bar. This gets really mucky, and once again it's very, very difficult to clean. I'm sure, if my memory serves me, this top bit comes off. I'm sure I've cleaned under there before, but I couldn't get it off today, and I didn't want to force it because I didn't want to break it. I might be remembering a different machine. I've had a few different carpet shampooers over the years, so I'm just going to go in best I can to get this stuff out. I end up using my kebab skewer and everything to get these little lobs of hair out, but I do get it relatively clean by the end of it. And once all of these bits and bobs are dry, I'll put them back together on the machine, and then the machine is ready to go, and that will be my last job for this week. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you may notice that there are only 6 videos in this week's monthly cleans. There should be one more, and that is the sofas. I did clean the sofas, and we had a bit of a muddy family walk, and they needed cleaning a little bit sooner than I had planned. So they did actually get cleaned this week, but I did not film it. So if you are cleaning along with me, if you are trying to get your monthly cleans done alongside me, do your sofas as well. That is on this week's list. So just didn't get to film it, unfortunately. And that will be it for this week, you guys. I hope you're enjoying the monthly cleans. I know it's very satisfying to be getting through them. And I will see you again next week with another 7 monthly cleans. We're halfway there, guys. Halfway through the month, halfway towards a nice clean house. I will see you next week, guys. Bye bye.